Okay. So, guys, okay, shh, quiet. So, we're solving inequalities using multiplication and division. We did this on Tuesday. We did addition and subtraction, and it worked exactly like solving a regular equation. If you needed to add or subtract, you just added or subtracted, no big deal. The process is essentially the same for multiplying and dividing, with one major important change that you have to watch out for. You have to pay very close attention when you're doing this. Now, okay, multiplying and dividing each side of an inequality by the same non-zero produces an equivalent inequality. I can solve the same way. This gets solved the same way that you would if you were normally doing a multiplication problem. Okay? So, for example, I have x divided by 3 is greater than 2, greater than or equal to 2. If that was equal, rather than an inequality, you would multiply both sides by 3, right? That's what you would do. Multiply both sides times 3. And you would cancel here, and you would get x, and you would multiply that out, and you would get 6, and you get greater than or equal to. Okay? If it's a one-step multiplication, it's still a one-step multiplication problem. We just multiply the two sides by the same number. Doesn't matter whether it was equal or not equal. So this one here, I have negative 5x is greater than or equal to 20. If it was an equal sign instead, we would divide both sides by negative 5. So we'd still divide both sides by negative 5. These cancel, and I get x. And then I have 20 divided by negative 5 is negative 4. Now, if I just went the way it was, and I got x is greater than or equal to negative 4. Notice it says, check your answers. Give me a number larger than negative 4. Negative 3. If I put negative 3 in here, negative 3 times negative 5 is 15. Is 15 larger than 20? No. If I put another number in, let's say 10. 10 times negative 5 is negative 50. Is negative 50 larger than 20? Is negative 50 larger than 20? No. Okay. No, it's not. So this wouldn't be right. What you need to do, as Sonny was saying, what you need to do is you need to switch the inequality around. And here is our rule. If you multiply or divide by a negative number, then you must flip the inequality. If you multiply or divide by a negative number, the most important word in this is a small two-letter word, but it is by far and away the most important word in this sentence is a little two-letter word, and it's divide or multiply by. It's the thing you are doing to both sides. If you're multiplying both sides by negative, it's the thing you're doing to both sides. If that's negative, then you flip the sign. If it's positive, you don't. It doesn't matter whether the numbers on the other side are negative. It's what you're doing to both sides that means you flip it. If the number you're multiplying both sides by is positive, you don't flip it. If the number you're dividing both sides is positive, you don't flip it. It's what you're doing to both sides is whether or not you flip it. Okay. So, for example, let's see if I can. Nope, that won't do it. That won't work. Okay. So I thought I could just move the problem, but I can't just move the problem. So I have x over 3 is less than negative 2. So I need to get x by itself. This is x divided by 3. What do I need to do to solve it? Times 3. Multiply both sides by 3. So times 3 times 3. And I get x, and I get negative 6. Do I flip the inequality? No, because The thing I did to both sides was positive, so the inequality does not flip. The 3 on both sides, what I did to both sides, not the equation, it's not the original equation, it's what I added to the equation once multiplying by 3. That number's positive, it doesn't flip. Okay? And now to graph it, just put a -6 somewhere on there. Is it open or closed? Open. God, you guys are getting this good. And I want everything smaller. I ask open and closed a lot because that tends to be a tripping point for a lot of students, but you guys seem to be doing well. Questions so far? It's not difficult, but there is, like I said, one important thing, that flipping the sign or not flipping the sign. That is huge. Okay. Come on. There we go. Okay. Multiplying by a negative number. So when I have a fraction in front and I want to solve getting rid of this fraction, how am I going to solve that equation? -3/4 W is greater than or equal to 3. What do I do to get rid of the -3/4? I need to multiply by -4/3. You flip it over, right? You have a fraction. So you do times -4/3, and I do times -4/3. And here's the thing, why do you do this? Because on this side here, the 3's and the 4's cancel, and the 2 positive cancels to give me a positive W. And on the other side, we'll have a positive and negative, so I get a negative. And if you want to use your calculator, you can do that, or you can go, ooh, that's 3/1. And my 3's cancel, and I get -4/1, which is -4. Now the question is, do I flip my inequality, yes or no? I do, because what I did to both sides was negative, -4/3, -4/3. What I did to both sides was negative. That flips my inequality around. And so I have -4. Do I have open or closed? Closed. I got a solid dot. I want everything less. Going to go back to 70. So solid. Yeah. Solid. Groovy. Right on. Far out.
Radical.
No, that's the 80s. We're sticking with the 70s. Okay. Now. So the next one. So this is actually not that far off from what you might actually be doing in life, and I'm sure many of you can figure out what you need to do anyways on this and how to solve it in your head. You walk dogs in your neighborhood after school. You earn $4.50 per dog. How many dogs do you need to walk to earn at least $75? So I know many of you are probably already thinking how you can figure out how many dogs you need to do without setting up equations. But this is an algebra class. We need to do the algebra you're doing in your head on paper. Okay. So how much do you get paid per dog? $4.50. So if I want to know how much money I'm making, I take how much I get per dog, the $4.50, and I multiply that times the number of dogs. D for dogs. Number of dogs times $4.50 tells me how much money I have in my pocket. You get paid $8 an hour, you multiply that times the number of hours, that's how much money you make, right? Same thing. Per dog, something that's per an amount is you multiply them. And then I want to get $75. Here's the important phrase we need to talk about. At least $75. So, at least $75. So the question is that more? Am I trying to get more or less? I want more. Can I get exactly $75? Yeah, at least means I can, $75 is good enough, but more would be better. So it has to be greater than or equal to 75. How are you going to solve this? What do you do? Divide both sides by 450. And I get the number of dogs I need to be walking. It has to be greater than or equal to. And please, dear Lord, use a calculator to do this problem. Don't try to do it by hand. Now, I happen to remember the answer from earlier. 16.6 repeated. Yes.
Can we do the other trick? Like,
What?
like $1,
$16 and 16 cents.
No, it's not the same. No, it's not the same. Is it? Mhm. Okay, so what did I get? I got 16.6. So I need to walk 16.6 dogs.
Okay.
Can I walk 0.6 dogs?
No,
No, you can't walk 0.6 dogs. Even if it's missing a couple of legs, it still counts as a whole dog.
17.
Okay, so how many dogs do I need to walk to make my money?
17.
17. So I have to walk 17 dogs. And is it possible to earn exactly $75?
No.
No. If this had come out as a whole number, then yeah, we can get exactly $75. You can't get exactly $75. You can get more, you can get less. You cannot get 75 itself. Okay. Hopefully you'll get tips and you'll do better than that. Okay. Tips always work out nice. Okay, last example. Okay, shh. So, guys. So what are the solutions to the inequality? Dividing by a negative number. I have negative 9y is less than or equal to 63. How do I solve this problem? What do I do? Divide by what? Divide by negative 9. I get a negative 9. I need to divide by a negative 9. Here the negative 9's cancel. I get y. And 63 divided by negative 9 is negative 7. Do I flip my inequality?
Yes.
Yes, because I did negative to both sides. I did negative to both sides. So I do flip my inequality. So y is greater than or equal to negative 7. I get negative 7 and a big old fatty dot. And there we go. Piece of cake. It's really, these are easy problems you're going to be doing today. Really easy problems. Just have to be careful about flipping the inequalities back and forth. Okay, you have to just be really careful about flipping the inequalities back and forth. If what you're doing to both sides, what you are doing to both sides is negative, the inequality flips. If what you are doing to both sides is positive, it doesn't flip. Okay, so it's a very key point, but an easy one to follow.